We'll start this morning with some big breaking news.
Author Sally Rooney has revealed that she chose not to travel to the United Kingdom this week to collect a prestigious literary prize, citing concerns that she might be arrested due to her outspoken support for the activist group Palestine Action. The acclaimed Irish novelist, best known for her international bestsellers Normal People and Conversations with Friends, made the disclosure in a statement that has sparked heated debate in both literary and political circles. Rooney had been announced as the recipient of the award weeks earlier, and her absence at the London ceremony drew immediate attention. Initially, organizers noted only that she could not attend in person and had sent in her acceptance remarks. However, Rooney has since clarified that her decision was rooted in fears of repercussions over her political stances, particularly her association with Palestine Action, a group that has carried out a series of direct actions and protests against companies linked to Israel's military industry. Palestine Action, which describes itself as a grassroots movement committed to shutting down arms factories in the UK that supply weapons to Israel, has been the subject of multiple police raids and legal actions. Some of its members are currently facing trial over what authorities have categorized as criminal damage, while activists themselves describe their actions as nonviolent resistance against complicity in human rights abuses. Rooney has been a vocal supporter of the movement, often amplifying their campaigns on social media and, more broadly, aligning herself with the Palestinian cause in her public writings and interviews. According to Rooney, her advisors warned her that traveling to the UK could expose her to potential questioning, detention, or even charges under laws related to protest and political activism. Though she has not personally taken part in any direct actions organized by Palestine Action, her vocal support and fundraising efforts on their behalf appear to have raised alarms. "I did not feel confident that my entry into the country would be free of harassment or legal jeopardy," she said. "While I would have loved to celebrate literature and community with my peers, I could not take that risk in good conscience." Her decision has ignited controversy. Supporters of Rooney argue that the situation highlights an alarming erosion of free expression in the UK, where political dissent and solidarity with Palestine are increasingly under scrutiny. Several prominent authors, academics, and human rights groups have rallied to her side, stressing that expressing political views should never be grounds for intimidation or legal consequences. They see Rooney's absence not just as a personal choice but as a warning about the climate of repression faced by those who speak out against the UK's role in global conflicts. Critics, however, have taken a different view. Some argue that Rooney's claims are exaggerated and that the UK, despite tightening protest laws in recent years, remains a democracy where writers are not arrested merely for their political beliefs. Commentators in some British media outlets have dismissed her concerns as a publicity maneuver or as part of a broader effort to politicize cultural spaces. Others point to her previous decisions, such as refusing to allow one of her novels to be translated into Hebrew by an Israeli publisher, as evidence of her increasingly radical stance on the issue. The broader backdrop to Rooney's decision is the heated debate over the UK government's approach to protest and activism. In recent years, the Conservative-led government passed legislation that critics say severely restricts the right to peaceful assembly. Campaigners argue that these laws have disproportionately targeted environmental groups like Extinction Rebellion and Just Stop Oil, as well as pro-Palestinian activists. Several high-profile arrests have fueled accusations of political policing, with lawyers warning that the criminalization of dissent is becoming normalized. Against this backdrop, Rooney's concern about possible arrest no longer appears, to her supporters, far-fetched. Rooney herself has long been candid about the intersection between literature and politics. She has repeatedly emphasized that her role as a writer cannot be divorced from her values, and she has used her platform to highlight global inequalities and struggles against oppression. For her, the Palestinian cause represents a moral imperative. It is not simply a matter of solidarity, she has said in past interviews. It is about opposing systems of violence and injustice wherever they appear. Her stance has won her admiration among activists but has also invited criticism from those who believe artists should remain outside political disputes. The absence of Rooney at the awards ceremony was felt keenly. Attendees noted the tension in the room as organizers read out her statement, in which she thanked the judges and expressed regret at not being able to join them in person. The statement also reiterated her support for those struggling against occupation and apartheid and urged the literary community to take seriously its responsibility to resist oppression. While the audience reportedly gave warm applause, the reaction outside the hall has been polarizing. This latest development adds another chapter to Rooney's already complex public persona, a globally celebrated author who has chosen to wield her influence in political ways that many of her contemporaries shy away from. Her decision not to travel to the UK this week underscores the increasingly blurred lines between literature, politics, and activism in a world where cultural figures are expected to take stands on global issues. Whether one views her concerns as justified or overstated, there is no denying that Rooney has again placed herself at the center of an urgent debate about freedom of expression, state repression, and the role of the artist in times of crisis. In the end, Rooney's choice may resonate beyond the literary world. It is a story about an author unwilling to compromise her principles, even at the cost of missing one of the most important nights of her professional life. For her admirers, it is an act of integrity; for her detractors, a calculated provocation. But whatever the interpretation, Sally Rooney's absence from London this week has ensured that the conversation around literature, politics, and justice will be louder than the applause that might have greeted her on stage.